YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back. And in this video, we're going to go back to Super Bowl 54, take a look at the biggest plays and break them down. In my opinion, the most important, the most crucial plays in this game that gave us the end result that we got with the Chiefs coming back and the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. That's the plays we'll break down. You know, some of them are the obvious big plays. Some of them are maybe some plays that are going unnoticed a little bit, or there's something that happened within the play that we'll kind of point out. So really excited to do this. Excited that I have the all 22 footage here so we can break it down. Got a few extra features too, so this is going to be pretty cool. Before we get started, we have two channels now. We have this channel, and then we have a new channel, the GOAT House Plus. There'll be a link down in the description and the comments for that. We want to match the subscribers. We got 40K, just past our goal, so we really appreciate the support. We kind of want to match it on the other channel as well, so we'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. Full NFL content here, not just in the season, but in the offseason, of course, as well. Full free agency and NFL draft coverage. I'm very excited for the offseason now, excited to cover that. So hopefully you can subscribe and join us for all that. There's our Twitter, @GoatHouseNFL. You'll find a link down in the description in the comments for that. Every single day, talking football, every single day. It's a must follow. Go ahead and click that link in the description. And then there's our Patreon. You'll find that link down below as well. Let's get into some of these plays and break them down. Pretty excited to do this here. So the first play here is the first fourth down that was converted for the Chiefs, and not really, these fourth downs really aren't talked about all that much. I mean, these are crucial plays in this game. Obviously, fourth downs aren't easy. If you get a stop here, the Niners get the ball back. It's a totally different game. So the first one was the Damien Williams run. We see the Chiefs get a little fancy there. I haven't seen that one yet. A little bit of spins. It's a direct snap to Damien Williams, and just gets short of the end zone, which resulted in the next play being a touchdown. But we'll take a look at what happened here. Another angle. We'll put it in slow motion. What's very interesting, not just the spin moves, but Travis Kelce is the lone left tackle out there, so that's pretty impressive. But the most impressive part is in here. You got Eric Fisher is 72. He is the original left tackle. Mitchell Schwartz is the original right tackle. He's inside Eric Fisher. And those are the most important pieces here to this play. And we'll rewind it here. We'll see it again. But Mitchell Schwartz has the biggest block in this play. He takes Fred Warner. He brushes up against Sheldon Day a little bit there with Eric Fisher. But then he takes Fred Warner, gets him out of the play. And then Eric Fisher's block on Day kind of helps Damien Williams get a little outside, which is 41, Emmanuel Mosley. So he's too far outside Damien Williams to make the play. So and that helps him kind of get that extra yard, get to the less than a half-yard line. So we'll see it again. And Mitchell Schwartz, Eric Fisher, both on the right side here. Pretty impressive, pretty cool play design. Travis Kelce alone at left tackle there. But those are the key blocks. Mainly Mitchell Schwartz, who's well known as maybe the best right tackle in football. And that's really what gets the play done. Pretty cool play. Damien Williams is also ran pretty hard in this play, but those key blocks, he kind of just put his head down, ran in there. Those key blocks made this possible to not only convert it, but to put themselves in situations to get the first touchdown on the board, which is comes shortly after this. Next play we're talking about is another 4th and 1 here. Another fourth down conversion for the Kansas City Chiefs. People kind of forget they converted 2 fourth downs in the first half, and pretty crucial in my opinion. And if you're with us on Twitter, I was kind of talking about this right when it happened. I found this pretty interesting. We'll take a look at it a few times here. So it's going to be a speed option to the right. What I like best about this is Mahomes making the adjustments. I believe they had the option call originally, but him taking Kelce out wide is pretty big, and we'll look over why here. We're going to backtrack here, put it in slow motion. So what confused me at the time, what confused me live, is how the Niners are aligned here on defense. The best defense in football, plain and simple. But there was some, even though they had a great performance for the most part until they gave up some points in the fourth quarter, there was some moments like this that it kind of confused me. So you see, really, there's only one linebacker. It's Fred Warner right there, right in the middle. And then you do have another linebacker, Dre Greenlaw, but he's going to come up on the edge. He's going to be another guy on the line, another edge rusher almost. And, he could take away the option if it was, to the strong side over there. But, and then you have Jaquiski Tartt, the safety, who comes up on the right side of the screen there, the right side of the offense. And what that does is, it's stacked up. But what Mahomes does is takes Kelce out wide, which is genius. Let's get Jaquiski Tartt out of here. There's too many guys up here. Let's get him out of here. That's the key player right there, Jaquiski Tartt. So they're going to take him out of there. And then it's pretty much Fred Warner by himself. He comes over to this side. He's kind of focused on Damien Williams where he is in the backfield. And then they're going to run this speed option to the right, which is absolutely genius play call here. It's a guarantee first down. And why? Because when defenses are taught to cover any sort of option, somebody is designated a player. Somebody's assigned a player. And usually the end being Nick Bosa in this scenario would be assigned the quarterback. But since there's no linebacker out there, since there's no safety, the safety's one-on-one with Kelsey. He's focused on him. Fred Warner has to come all the way across the field to help out and take Damien Williams. So really, what it comes down to, it was Nick Bosa's job to, and it wasn't planned like this because they didn't know the play. They just really didn't think this was going to be the play when it's all said and done. But Nick Bosa's job was to get Mahomes and get Damien Williams. Impossible to do. I think he definitely made the right decision going after Mahomes like that. He still had the ball. If the play was drawn up correctly for the Niners, if the scheme was, he would have had Mahomes anyways. So no way can blame him. I mean, that's the best he can do there. Guy can't cover two guys. Kelsey does a phenomenal job blocking. Even look at Mitchell Schwartz. If you look at the right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz, one of the best right tackles in football, he's gonna. Yeah, I don't think Fred Warner. He actually might have been a threat. Now looking at it again, he's a very rangy linebacker. He could come across on a perfect angle and stop them just in time. So Mitchell Schwartz, now that I'm looking at it, it was more of an impact there. I mean, once again, see him kind of get out there, and that's a big responsibility there. It's not the hardest block, but Fred Warner is a fast and rangy athletic linebacker. So, and that results in the first down, another fourth down conversion, a huge one of those plays that's kind of going unnoticed. Next play we're looking at is maybe the biggest play of the game, the most known impact play here. The 3rd and 15, Mahomes bombs at Tyreek Hill. If they didn't get this, they were most likely going to have to go for it on 4th down. But, I mean, this really changes the game, really sparks the comeback. So we'll take a look at this here from multiple different ways and break it down. Maybe what the Niners did wrong, what the Chiefs did right. So we'll see it in kind of live play here, a live motion from the All-22 footage. Tyreek Hill's coming from the slot. Obviously, the Niners are going to be in cover 3, which we're used to seeing them in. And excellent route from Tyreek Hill. Kind of throws Jimmy Ward off a little bit and creates an insane amount of separation. But we'll kind of go back here and look at it again. Live, I thought it was kind of on Jimmy Ward, but really, it really wasn't. Technically, it wasn't his zone. It's just a beautifully drawn play. It's a perfect play against cover 3. Kind of makes you wonder, where it was most of the game. But the Niners did a good job of, keeping everything in front and not letting this happen. The previous parts of the game, but it's going to be cover 3. You're going to see Richard Sherman is the corner out here. He's going to have deep thirds on this side. Emmanuel Mosley, is going to have deep third on the far side there, and that leaves one safety to have the middle thirds, deep thirds, and that's going to be Jimmy Ward. Jaquiski Tartt is going to kind of come up and play underneath right in front of that first down marker. We got a couple guys in the flats. Kwan Williams going to take the flats. You don't want anything leaked out to Damien Williams. You don't want him to have a whole bunch of cushion to run. And the linebackers are going to play a little back normal and then their normal coverage because it is 3rd and 15. Makes sense. So it's almost like a prevent cover 3 here. You just don't want to let anything behind you. But it was the perfect play. So the problem here is for the Niners defense is that Sammy Watkins is already out wide. You got Tyreek Hill in the slot who eventually catches the ball. Basically, both of them are kind of going to be in Emmanuel Mosley's zone here. And Jimmy Ward's job is to help over the top, but really his job is to get pretty much the middle lane there. So we'll see. We'll put it in slow motion here. It's a beautiful route by Tyreek Hill, kind of to throw them off. Jimmy Ward could have done a lot better on this play as well. But we'll kind of see how Sammy Watkins is kind of keeping Emmanuel Mosley occupied. But really, Emmanuel Mosley should let him go there. He should let Sammy Watkins go right here. Let him cut inside. Somebody else's job to pick him up. But he's already, Tyreek Hill's already almost 10 yards behind him, and he really fooled Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward wanted to stay over the top of him. He knew Tyreek Hill was probably getting the ball here, and he thought he was posting. You see Tyreek Hill kind of going to the post. He thought for sure he's posting, and that kind of forces him to get turned around and have to turn. And it's just too late because Tyreek Hill's speed. And then Patrick Mahomes, had to make a pretty damn far throw because he had to drop way back, and great pressure from the Niners. Has to throw it off his back foot, launches it up. Tyreek Hill comes back to the ball, makes the all-important catch. And we actually can take a look at it. Pretty cool here. We can take a look at it from this angle here, like the next gen look. So it's pretty cool. So actually what you see here, what I find interesting, what it kind of tells you is before the ball snapped, and see the ball's not even snapped yet, and you see Richard Sherman out there, 25, already starting to get a jump on the ball. And I found that pretty interesting because it pretty much tells you it's not really going to give anything away live because it's seconds, not even before the snap. But why he moves early, what I take away from that is because, like I said, one safety has to have the middle thirds, and that is Jimmy Ward, who number 20 is, and he's kind of shaded over on Emmanuel Mosley's side. So Sherman needs to get a head start on his drop back here, and he's just going to take Blake Bell. And then we kind of can see what happens. Tyreek Hill, you can see number 10, Tyreek Hill, kind of acts like he's going to do a post, and it's just a really good route, gets open out there. And Sammy Watkins keeps Emmanuel Mosley occupied here. And everything else really doesn't matter. Damien Williams kind of leaking out, keeping a guy like Kwan Williams occupied there because he's kind of got the flats, but it's going to be a little deeper flats, of course. Usually it'd kind of be out in this area, but it's 3rd and 15, so it's perfect play for this situation. This is very cool, actually. You can actually click on Tyreek Hill, and we can click on a guy like Emmanuel Mosley, and it'll tell you the separation, from them. So like a good 10-yard separation. It gets further and further, and then as the ball, he has to come back for the ball, of course. So that's pretty cool. And then Jimmy Ward, who realizes that Tyreek Hill's getting the ball, and we see where he should be in closing in on him. He actually gets further away from him right there. You see that? It goes from, he starts to get closer. He's reading that Tyreek Hill might be the guy in this play. It's cutting down to, just around 6 yards separation, and then it starts to go back up because of the move that Tyreek Hill put on him. So perfect play design for cover 3 in a long distance situation. Wish we would have saw a little more of it earlier in the game. Could have been easier from the Chiefs, but credit to the Niners defense. They did a really good job from keeping everybody in front of them, I guess, in the back end and keeping everybody covered. It's hard to do against the speed, but another big play in the game was the big Sammy Watkins catch, about a 2nd and 7 down the stretch of the game, and was huge for them. One-on-one against Richard Sherman, and obviously beats him. We'll take a look at it here. It's the whole way Mahomes is pretty much looking for Watkins. That's the play. We see the corners kind of pressing at the line there. Kind of makes you think man, but it's actually going to be cover 3 again. See a heck of a move by Watkins. They have Sherman coming up, kind of going to be physical with him, but speed beating physicality in today's NFL, and we kind of see it there. But actually it looks like man. It may look like man because the corners are up there pressing. And it was a pretty quick play. He was on him the whole way, but it's actually, once again, it's gonna be cover 3, more of a cover 3 buzz. And then Sherman is gonna have deep thirds. He's gonna have this whole section of the field. And actually not just deep, but the linebacker's gonna cut over too, so he does have the underneath. And the same thing goes for Mosley out there, and then Jimmy Ward is going to you see him kind of start to shift over. He's going to have the deep center of the field. And then Jaquiski Tart, the other safety, is going to be your buzz safety, which means he's going to come up there. He's not going to be in the deep third conversation there. He's going to come up and kind of read Robinson, try to help out on him. And then Sammy Watkins puts on the phenomenal move. Mahomes throws it. It's a really quick play, good play by Mahomes and Sammy Watkins. We can take a look at it from the next gen angle. And yeah, like I said, you got Sherman's going to have all the way out here, all thirds of the field here. And then same goes for Mosley. And Watkins is pretty much just going to beat him there. And we could see we can see the separation between the two, Sammy Watkins. So before the ball is snapped, it's 2 yards. It's kind of moving right here. The guys are moving a little bit. It's about 2 yards separation. He's going to try to get physical with him off the line, but Watkins puts on a good move. So you see where the contact is made, and it kind of gets down to 0.77 yards there, even further down, lower. And then he's going to gain the separation right there, make the grab. It's a great play by Sammy Watkins. He had a few big plays in this game, this being the biggest one. So I thought he was a big-time player in this game as well. Next play we're going to take a look at is the 3rd and 5. It'll end up being a touchdown to Damien Williams there right on the pylon. under review, obviously, some may think he might have stepped out before he was in. I believe they got it right, but we'll take a look at it here. Really good play design. The Chiefs did a really good job once they're, in the red zone, here within the 5 yards of the end zone. So the motion was the key to me. Tyreek Hill kind of coming in motion in the backfield kind of made things confusing back there, and that allowed Damien Williams to get out there. Kind of going to go backwards here. Take a look. Yeah, we see Tyreek Hill coming in motion. Jimmy Ward's going to follow, and that's kind of what creates confusion because the Niners defense is kind of in a man here, man coverage, and it creates confusion for the two safeties because Tart's going to be pretty much on Damien Williams at this point, and Jimmy Ward has got Tyreek Hill, but then the motion kind of confused him, and then now Tyreek Hill's going to go back the other way, a little RPO look, and then going to dump it off to Damien Williams. So that kind of confused the safeties a little bit. Could have helped Ward get over a little faster on the Damien Williams. But, yeah, Richard Sherman really makes a good play here. Yeah, you wish he would have got there a little quicker, but his job was to stick on Kelsey, so it really wasn't his job here to get him. He almost made the big-time play, too. So we can take a look at it. I love this. It's almost easier to read what happens on this where you see everyone's number. But we kind of could look at it with so Tyreek Hill. You see Jimmy Ward's already on the left side, man on Tyreek Hill. He's going to come in motion into the backfield. Jimmy Ward follows Tyreek Hill. And then Tart's kind of lined up over here. You don't really know what he's going to do as an offense, but all you know is you're going the opposite way as him. But he's actually going to be on Damien Williams. Jimmy Ward's going to be on Tyreek Hill, but they obviously go opposite ways here. So you see Jimmy Ward starts to kind of cut over that way. He starts to kind of follow Hill. But what the safeties were supposed to do here was kind of stay on their side, which he did. But Tart remains here. He kind of keeps an eye on Tyreek Hill. But Jimmy Ward should have got a jump instantly on Damien Williams here. Obviously, yeah, Fred Warner looks like he's going to try to blitz, kind of backs off because he reads the play. I wish he could have got there a little quicker too. But to me, Jimmy Ward should have got the jump. It's a very tough play to defend, but to me, he should have should have got the jump on the play and maybe beat Richard Sherman out there. But Damien Williams with his speed, they almost got to Mahomes too. They almost got to Mahomes. He had to kind of just dump it off there. End up working out. I think what the actual play might have been, option A was Travis Kelce, with Sherman on man here. I think they're going to try to get him in the corner. I think that's what they're going to try to do. You see him kind of going in, Sherman kind of being a little physical, and he was going to kind of leak out to the corner here. But the play worked out. You got two great options there. Obviously, the third, I think, would be Mahomes running it, but that wasn't a possibility there. So, obviously, it worked out. I mean, we can take a look after we explain it through there. We can kind of take a look at it again here, see what it looks like. But, yeah, I think that maybe the play was going to go to Kelce at one point. I think he was going to go to the corner and just try to beat out Sherman. But I like the way the play worked out. Obviously, it ended up in a touchdown. I think Sherman could have defended that play if they did go to Kelce there. But we're in slow motion here. We can speed it up. I think what was gonna happen was Kelce was kind of gonna act like he was blocking and then kind of leak out. I think it was a strong possibility, unless they wanted Mahomes to run too. I mean, there's just endless amounts of possibilities with this Chiefs offense. I think what set it up was just having the two guys in the backfield, having Tyreek Hill kind of get out there or in there in the backfield. I think that confused the safeties and Jimmy Ward, who kind of lost. I don't want to say lost responsibility, but kind of hesitated on the play, and that was that extra step there, which was the difference in touchdown or being out of bounds. 24-20 Chiefs at this point. This is kind of that dagger play, the game-clinching play, that Damien Williams big run for a touchdown, really to end the game. And the most surprising part of this was the Niners defense, and don't really expect this from their defense. Maybe the last score kind of sucked the life out of them. But Damien Williams, great run, bounces it outside, but great execution for the blocking here. What the shocking part was here was really it was up to one guy to make this play, and we rarely see that from the Niners. Credit to the blocking here. I know Nick Bosa did try to kind of get a last effort dive, make a play there. We'll see at a different angle, but it was really up to Jimmy Ward, who actually had a lot of responsibility in this game, and maybe was a little off in his game. He had a great season, but maybe he was a little off in his game. He's got to get a better angle here and a better tackle attempt. But really shouldn't all be on him. That was the only guy that really had a chance in that play, and that really shouldn't happen. We'll see it from a different angle. Bosa almost makes a diving play here to kind of keep them alive. Just really good blocking out here. It's up to one player. Fred Warner really can't. He kind of takes a rough angle as well, runs into his own teammate. really poor angle, poor tackling attempt from Jimmy Ward, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, guys like Warner and Bosa had a shot in that play too. But really, when it comes down to who had like only a clear shot was one player, and that was really the surprising part of this play. And we can see here, it's really Damien Williams versus Jimmy Ward, and it really shouldn't be, like I said. But you see that separation. You know, the one guy you got to beat's a safety. You're feeling pretty good if you're the running back. So he does close in on him really close. It's just not the best angle. The tackle attempt, yeah, wasn't great, but it was because of the angle he took, and that really clinched the game there in a big-time game and play from Damien Williams, and the blocking too. You know, the offensive line, you know, everybody, you know, at times they gave up some pressure, but really executed when it mattered most. Now taking a look at some of the plays on the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs, the big impact plays, and some that actually go unnoticed. You know, you look at a couple of the big carries or big plays from Deebo Samuel and the touchdown saving tackles that Tyrann Mathieu made. You can see in the first end around to Deebo Samuel that if it wasn't for Tyrann Mathieu, you can see him here as a safety. He's got to get across the field, and you know, a little worried that Deebo could juke at one point, but still forces him out of bounds. And if it wasn't for Tyrann Mathieu there, Deebo Samuel's most definitely gone for a touchdown. I don't think anybody's catching him. See some good angles back here, but nobody fast enough to catch Deebo Samuel. So just one of the touchdown saving plays from Tyrann Mathieu here. And then next time Deebo Samuel gets a big gain, Tyrann Mathieu single-handedly actually stops him as well, and we'll see that here in a moment. Another touchdown saving tackle for Tyrann Mathieu here. It happens to be on Deebo Samuel again. We see the little shuffle pass coming across right in front of Jimmy G. Considered a pass, and you see Tyrann Mathieu up in the slot, dropping back, and then it's really going to be up to him in there in the middle of the field. Looks like Deebo's gone. Everyone's blocked pretty well, and there's another touchdown saving tackle with Tyrann Mathieu, kind of going unnoticed here. Not being known as one of the bigger plays here, but Tyrann Mathieu with two now on Deebo Samuel, and that most definitely could have made the comeback harder, and it could have changed the game completely. The first interception for Jimmy Garoppolo may have shifted things. You know, it was early in the game, but it definitely, the Niners could have kept the drive alive and maybe scored points. And the key here, it was a good play and a good game overall by Bashaud Breeland. But the key here was Chris Jones, forcing Garoppolo to have to get rid of that ball with instant pressure and then picked off by Breeland. See a better angle here in just a second. But you got Chris Jones, who is a dominant defensive lineman and a big reason he can rush from pretty much anywhere. You see him with in a three technique spot, a defensive tackle here, and he's instantly going to get pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo here and pretty much force him to make that bad decision. It's something that Garoppolo has done throughout the year, and there was really no chance that this was, really getting completed. So definitely not one he should have thrown. Maybe he was trying to throw it away. It looks like maybe he was trying to throw it away, but you can't really tell. It is a tough situation. Do you take a sack? Do you throw it away? It's a free interception for Bashaud Breeland, who had a big-time game, by the way. And you can take a look at it on here. As soon as Chris Jones just gets the pressure, kind of just launches it up. And you see there is really no shot for Deebo Samuel to get that ball. And that ball definitely could have been intended to get out of bounds. But that's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one for Garoppolo, and that definitely could have changed the game as well. This was a huge play of the game, in my opinion. You got 2nd and 5. The Chiefs are just starting that comeback. You see they're down by 3, and we kind of feel at this point they have a shot. But the Niners, all they got to do is keep moving that ball. All they got to do is keep running that clock. They gained 5 yards on first down, and we know they're a pretty darn good running team. So I think every one of us assumed that they were going to run the ball here. And they actually attempt to pass it here, and obviously we get a pass deflection, and that really shifted things. It kind of forced that 3rd down, and resulting in the Chiefs getting the ball back. See, the ball gets batted down by who else but Chris Jones. But yeah, originally, I was tweeting live during the game, and I know a lot of people blame Shanahan for calling the pass here. And originally, when I was tweeting about it, I had a problem with it too. With this single play, I think this really changed some things. But after kind of going back, I don't really mind it. It's an obvious running situation. You want to win the game. You want to go get the first down. You want to score more points to put this game out of reach for the Chiefs, to keep running the clock, keeping the drive alive basically. You're not really worried about clock management at this point. You're just worried about keeping the drive alive to end the game. And I don't disagree with Shanahan here. I really don't. Perfect world, he should have ran it probably, but I don't have a huge problem with this at all. I mean, it's a big-time play by Chris Jones. You see George Kittle out here, who actually has Suggs on him, is actually going to become pretty open here. He's actually going to become pretty wide open, and Garoppolo, we're going to see it from a better angle here. And Chris Jones actually coming from here this time. We've seen him last play. He was at a 3 technique. Now he's playing defensive tackle. What is a 2 technique here, right over the guard. And he's actually going to slide over and then make the pass deflection here. And you can see the ball just isn't high enough. It's just not high enough here. It's a great play by Chris Jones. I actually think that the ball would have been a little behind George Kittle as well, but he was open. And basically my point is, besides the fact that, look how many guys are blocking Chris Jones right now, too. You got 3 Niners blocking Chris Jones. And, Garoppolo didn't make it too hard for him, though, where he threw the ball. Chris Jones was not getting pressure here. They made sure that they were going to hold him down. They were going to block him, so they actually have time to throw the ball, even though there wasn't a whole bunch of time. But, yeah, my point here is that if this ball doesn't get batted, it gets through to Kittle. You see right there, it's pretty wide open. You got a pass rusher on him. Shanahan looks like a genius, and nobody's blaming him, obviously, at all. It's the complete opposite. So I don't really mind the play call. I see what he was trying to do. I guess you can say now that he should have ran the ball. But, not, as disappointed in Shanahan as I was and a lot of people were instantly here. It was just a really good play. Garoppolo's got to get that ball up. But now we got the big missed opportunity, the deep ball to Emmanuel Sanders on 3rd and 10, down 4 points, the minute 40 left in the game. And, This would have been a big meltdown for the Chiefs. They let this up, but it would have been big for the Niners. They definitely could have won this game, won the Super Bowl if Garoppolo could have hit this play. You're actually going to see 2 guys on Sanders over the top of Sanders here. That's what makes it pretty wild because that was the number 1 option here. And what I've noticed, they send a blitz. They get some decent pressure. Obviously, Garoppolo needs to hit the throw. But what I noticed, actually, we can slow this down a little bit, is, not only that they had 2 guys on Sanders and he was the top option, but what I noticed is the ball probably could have been placed towards, and we know it was overthrown, but it probably could have been placed in the post, actually. You see, Sanders starts to post a bit in between the 2 defenders, and there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space straight up the field as well, but there's a lot of space over there. If he kind of puts this ball on an angle, it makes it an easier catch for Sanders because he looked like he was trying to angle towards that post here, but I think it was just to get away from the defenders, who look to be, it looks to be cover 4 across the board, but we got 2 guys following Sanders here, and you see right there, that's where he starts to angle towards the post. So if this ball is put out there, in between the hashes, maybe to the far hash, that's a much easier play, but maybe it's not designed that way. But either way, it's an overthrow. It's really not the worst throw in the world. It's hard to put that right on the money, but it's a Super Bowl. You got to make those throws. So that's a tough one for Jimmy G there. And we can see it from, this angle as well. But pretty crazy that the option A that was the most open, had 2 guys over the top of him there. And you notice that Frank Clark is kind of getting, he had a quiet game most of the game. Actually, something I just noticed now. He's got a lot to get through here. 3 guys blocking him, one being the running back. It's a good job of the Niners offensive line kind of shifting over and help him out there. Yeah, so Frank Clark had a tough task in this game, and he showed up very late, which was impactful, but tough one there. The play after the missed opportunity downfield to Sanders, you got 4th and 10, pretty much the game. You have to get a first down here, and this one ended with a sack. And watching it live, it felt like Garoppolo got sacked the second the ball was snapped. Watching it again, it's not really the case, but still didn't have a whole bunch of time. Everything was just locked up. We see cover 4 for the Chiefs. They got everything locked up across the board at the first down marker. But if we go back here, everything's pretty much covered up. It feels like the receivers were a little slow to get out there. Kittle actually leaks out late. I think he was a little late to get off. He's getting pretty, pissed that he's not getting the ball there, but he was well short of the sticks. He got out there pretty late. Something I did notice here is, you see Garoppolo actually does have more time than you think, but nobody's open. He wants to be able to step up in the pocket. I guess wrong move to do that. But something I noticed here was Kendrick Bourne in the slot. Watch him right here in the slot. Obviously, he's, the play is for him not to go, go deep. But watch this double move. It's a great route. If he goes upfield, he's got, that's another deep shot attempt. If Garoppolo has the time there, which it's only if he's looking there. He doesn't have too much time at all. But I wish, obviously it's not Bourne's fault. He's coached to do what he did here, but it's a great move, and he had so much field in front of him. He kept up going up the field where Garoppolo could have just tried it again and kind of just launched it in the air. Yeah, a great pass rush from Frank Clark here. Was a little quiet early in the game, was actually doubled and tripled at times, but just throws the offensive lineman on the ground and gets the sack. I mean, he comes up, big-time player, comes up big-time moments. So, yeah, just something I noticed that Garoppolo, like I said, a little more time than I originally thought. Still not really his fault. Man, if they would have sent Bourne on that, that would have been fantastic. I think it's also smart too, because I know you're worried about getting the first down. You're trying to get the high percentage play, but that kind of gets two guys out of the traffic. It gets two guys out of the traffic and helps the other guys, the other two receivers that are just at the sticks to come across the field. Maybe I don't really like the play design. Really, is what I'm getting to. Just pretty much, we're really not the best routes either. Deebo Samuel is trying to. What he should do is go outside. He cuts back in right there. You see, I don't like that play design. I don't know. Maybe Samuel was supposed to go on an out route. And it's just not a whole bunch going for him. It was not a high percentage. It was not a high percentage conversion on fourth down, and we can see it from this angle too, if it helps at all. You see that's where Bourne. I really wish Bourne would have went, because that's where he had him beat. He could have went upfield. And that would have been something else. But you see the other two receivers, Sanders and Samuel. Sanders being on the left, Samuel on the right. Looks like they just kind of ran out there as almost like decoys, but it was poor routes by them. So did Garoppolo have enough time anyways? And you see, actually looking here, it looks like Kittle had a good amount of space. But a play, I think, a lot of yards to go. I think a play would have been made here. You see Bourne's kind of coming back to get in position to block. And that could have been big. It pretty much would have been on Rashad Fenton there, who could have came out and made the play. Still a lot of yards for Kittle, but we've seen him break tackles and win one-on-one. So, yeah, Kittle might have leaked out a little too late, but at the same time, I don't think he was expecting that to be considered late. I think it was instant pressure. The whole pocket collapsed thanks to the defensive lineman. Frank Clark made the big play. At the big moment. The big time players make big time plays at the right moment. Was a little quiet earlier in the game, but big time there. Big time for Frank Clark. The game is pretty much over at this point, but the play to ice the game, the big play to end the game, was the Kendall Fuller interception, which was one of the more impressive interceptions that I've seen, especially in the Super Bowl too. I mean, went up and kind of mossed the receiver here, who was Deebo Samuel. That is a hard interception to make. Definitely a wow moment from Kendall Fuller there. That's a tough one. Slow it down. I'm just amazed by this interception. I know it wasn't a huge impact play because the game was over. I don't know how he caught that one. Just came over the top and took it. I could see it from another angle. Very, very, very cool play there. Just was not expected. I was expecting a good play from the bat it down, but somehow he catches that one. It's ridiculous. Ends the game. You can see it here. So you see what Garoppolo was kind of thinking on this play. Samuel kind of gets the separation right there. You see him, he kind of gets the separation. We can check off Samuel and Tyrann Mathieu. You see the separation there. He actually has him beat. He's starting to get further and further. And what Garoppolo sees is Kendall Fuller, who's playing center field right now, pretty much turn his back. You kind of can see by that the graph there that he kind of turns his back and turns his body and comes back as he throws the ball, which was what fooled Garoppolo, because he thought he was going away from the play, thought he would drop it right in there. It was a good idea by Garoppolo, just a really, really good play by Fuller to be able to turn and get that ball and actually catch that ball. Absolutely ridiculous. So that was one of those highlight plays, but obviously not a impactful moment there in the game. That's going to wrap up this video, though. Appreciate you guys for being here. Appreciate you for watching. Please subscribe to both of our channels. There's a link down in the description in the comments for our newer channel. And then our Twitter is down there as well. It's a must follow every single day talking football. So really appreciate if you can subscribe, follow, click the like button. We'll be back for more of these types of videos, free agency videos, NFL draft videos. We got you covered. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.